You know that feeling where you feel lost, you feel like you're behind, you feel like, bro, what's going on in my life, right? This video is going to help you out because I was once there. I was once struggling to find everything. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't have everything figured out, but I do wanna make this video to help somebody who's in a way worse situation or who's very, very stressed. Because I know sometimes I get stressed, but I know somebody out there watching this video is probably in a way worse position where like they absolutely have no idea what they want, who they are, what they want to become, things like that. So the number one thing that I want you to understand is focus, right? So what you focus on, you create more of, right? So when you're in a lack state, right? Let's say you're like, fuck, I don't got the Lambo, I don't got this, I don't got that, right? The shit starts to feel like it's running away from you. And it actually is running away from you because you're focused on the things that you don't have instead of the things you got, right? So gratitude is so important, right? So being grateful for the present moment, being grateful for the things that you do have. You might not have the Lambo. You might not have the fancy cars yet, which is fine, which is 100% fine. But you can't just focus on the things you don't have. You have to focus on the things that you do have, and you have to show gratitude, and that's how the universe rewards you, is by you being grateful and you being happy, right? When you're in a lack state, you get depressed, you get miserable, life feels like it's not going your way, right? Which when you focus on that, right, the effect starts to happen even more, right? So now you're like, fuck, I really don't have it, right? I really don't have it. I'm gonna run towards it. Chasing it is gonna get me it. No, right? Chasing is not going to get you the things that you want, right? What will, right, is changing your beliefs and believing that it is already done, believing that you already have it. As crazy as it sounds, right? How the fuck you believe your way into success, right? People, like, how? How do you fucking believe your way into success? There's no way, right? There's no way you can just believe your way into success. Wrong, right? If you believe you already have it, you start to feel as if you already have it. And when it comes to taking action, action feels effortless because you already feel as if it's already done, right? You're no longer stressed. You're no longer worrying about having it, right? And you're no longer just you're no longer just worried about not having it, right? You start to understand this, right? Start to understand this. It happens when you don't expect it, right? That girl that you want. When you steady texting other girls, you steady linking up with other girls, guess what? You're not gonna find the right one, the one that you're looking for, because you're constantly after it, right? It'll come when you least expect it, right? It'll come randomly. You might be at a coffee shop, you might be at a thrift store, and you might see the girl and you're like, hey, how you doing? And then conversation turns into a date turns into one day getting married, right? That's how it works, right? And we have to understand, right, that we have to stop creating scenarios in our head, right? And we have to start believing and having faith, right? Faith is the faith is the number one, right? Faith and belief is the number one way to success, right? If we can believe and we have faith, right? And we understand, it's gonna get bad sometimes, but God's gonna get me through it. Bro, that is when you ultimately start leveling up. That's when you start seeing the success. That's when you start seeing these things come to light, right? But it will never come to light if you don't believe and you don't have faith, right? God isn't going to let you suffer forever. Understand that, right? It's seasons for a reason, right? Just like the weather, right? One day is cold, one day is hot, right? The same thing with you, right? One day it's light outside, one day it's dark outside, right? One day is, one day it's super cloudy, it's a thunderstorm up in that mind. But the next day, it's rainbows, it's sunlight, right? And once we understand that God won't let us suffer forever, and to have faith and to actually believe in what it is that you're building, That is when you win. That is when you thrive. That is when you succeed. That is when you're going to feel the most fulfillment, right? You won't feel fulfilled when you're constantly in lack, when you're constantly comparing yourself to a person on social media, right? Social media is going to stop you from where you want to go, right? Because you're constantly doom scrolling and you're constantly watching other people live their lives instead of living your own, right? In order to really thrive, right? I want you to know, right? It's not going to happen if I'm lack and I'm in lack, right? Lack is what causes a lot of people to start chasing things, right? I'm gonna run towards it. I don't have it, but I'm gonna run towards it. And guess what? That thing, that goal, starts to run away from you, right? But when you say, okay, this is my goal, I'm gonna just relax. I'm gonna take it cool. I'm gonna be cool, right? Your goal starts to see that, and it creeps up on you. It's like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? You know? And next thing you know, right, your head's down, right? You keeping your head down, you putting in the work, and you start to see momentum, right? Then you start to fall in love with the process. Then you fall in love with the journey. Now you're in love, right? You're in love because you're not focused on the results, right? You're focused on getting better. You're focused on improving. You're focused on becoming the best of the best, right? And when you start doing that, guess what? Opportunities just come your way, right? Hey, how you doing? I'm a lead, you know? And that's how it works, right? But when we're constantly in lack, right? It's just like, I don't know if you guys did this as a kid, but when you're in school or let's say you're at work, right? You look at the clock and you notice shit's moving slow, right? But when you're having fun and when you're in the moment and you're actually, loving every second of your life, you start to realize, oh shit, this shit is going by fast, right? And the fast part is a good thing, right? We want time to feel like it's going slow because we're so in the moment, but the hour felt like 30 minutes, right? That's how your life should feel on a day-to-day when you're doing things that you love, when you're actually having fun in the process. Okay, so we got priming our mind. Why is priming our mind so important, right? Because, bro, there's gonna be days when it's super dark, right? When it's dark outside, when there's a storm going inside your mind, right? But we have to find light. And what priming does is allow us to get that light, right? It allows us to focus on the things that are going right instead of the things that are going wrong. Because like I said earlier, right? What we focus on, we create more of. So if we're focused on that dark, if we're focused on that storm inside of our mind, guess what? That storm gonna get louder. There's gonna be thunder all in that mind. But we have to get rid of that, right? So how do we get rid of that? We prime our mind. What are some ways that we can prime our mind, right? So we got meditation, right? We can meditate, right? What else can we do? We can do breath work, right? Breathing. Breathing absolutely helps you prime your mind, right? What else can we do? We could journal, right? We could journal, right? And I want you guys to understand these practices aren't going to be just, oh, I'm gonna do it one time and hopefully see results. No, this is something that you have to practice every single day. That way you can actually get good at it, right? It might take you 30 times of meditation to actually be able to visualize the things that you want to visualize, right? It might take you 10 times of breath work to really, really feel the effect, right? It might take you journaling over and over again to actually start feeling the fulfillment in journaling. Because I'm telling you, these practices actually help, right? These practices is what's going to prime our mind. And this is what's going to get you through the storms. This is what's going to get you through the dark days, right? Because if we're not happy, right? If we're focused on the things that we don't have, if we're focused on the shit that's going wrong, right? That is when you dig yourself in a deeper hole, And what we're trying to do is get out of that hole, right? We won't get out of that hole by just focusing on the things that are going wrong, right? The shovel being broken. No, we gotta fucking fix that shovel, right? We gotta work with what we got, right? Same thing here, right? So if our mind is constantly thinking negative, right? We gotta focus on the opposite. How do we focus on the positives? Okay, this is the best way to do it, right? Meditate, but when you meditate, what you have to do is you have to look at the things you do have, the things that you're grateful for. Oh, I have family. Oh, I have support. Oh, I have a roof over my head. Somebody else doesn't, right? Once we get that through our whole mind, everything changes. Everything changes from there, right? Because we're focused on the things that we do have, right? We're focused on why we should be grateful for our life, why we should be happy about our situation, right? That is the number one way, right, to prime your mind, right? Journaling, seeing it out every single day, right? You watching, right? I want you to actually take action. I want you to actually journal. I want you to actually meditate. I want you to actually visualize the success that you want, the life that you want. I want you to actively do this constantly, because what you then do is you program your mind to believe that it's possible, to believe that you're already worthy of it, right? And once you believe, right, fear, anxiety no longer controls you, no longer serves you. Once you have faith, fear, anxiety no longer serves you, no longer can control you, right? You're no longer on that leash, right? A lot of people are on leashes, but I want you to get off of that leash and focus on becoming the person you want to become, the person that you're worthy of, right? Fear is going to keep you trapped, right? Anxiety is going to keep you trapped. You're focused on the outcome that hasn't even happened yet, right? You're focused on the worst of the worst, right? It's just like if I'm swimming, right? And I'm afraid of the water, right? The moment I get into water that's 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 feet, right? I'm gonna start panicking. And guess what? When I start panicking, I go to fight or flight. And what fight or flight does, you're here, guess what? You start sinking. You start actually sinking, right? And it's because you don't have that faith and you don't believe you can do it, right? And when you don't have faith and you don't believe, guess what happens? The opposite thing starts to happen, right? So if I'm swimming, I'm gonna not be swimming. I'm gonna be drowning, right? And you have to understand it all is a mindset thing, right? Because I guarantee you, if you just lay on your back, you're gonna start to float. But the moment you start to think of, oh, the worst that can happen, right? Oh, what if I drown? What if? It's always the what ifs, right? Instead of what if, right? Instead of what if negative, let's think what if positive? What if positive, right? So start to prime your mind to focus on the positives. And when you focus on the positives, guess what you get? You get more positives, right? Things start to happen that you wanted to happen, right? So priming our mind is so important. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let's do it.